A man is lying alone in a small hotel room in New York. It is 1943. He has no money. He has no friends nearby. The world has mostly forgotten him. He dies quietly, by himself. But here is the strange thing. Every time you turn on a light, you are using his idea. Every time electricity moves through a wire in your home, that is his work. His name was Nikola Tesla. And his story starts far away, in a tiny village in Croatia, on a stormy night in 1856. Lightning was flashing outside when he was born. The woman helping with the birth said the storm was a bad sign. But his mother smiled and said, "He will be a child of light." She was right. More right than anyone knew. Nikola was the fourth of 5 children. His father, Milutin, was a Serbian Orthodox priest who loved books and language. His mother, Georgina, known as Duka, never went to school, but she had an extraordinary memory. She could recite long poems from memory and invented small tools to help with work around the house. Tesla later said that everything he was, he owed to his mother. As a young boy, Nikola was different from other children. He saw things that others did not see. He had visions, not dreams, but vivid mental images that appeared to him like real objects in the air. At first, this frightened him. But slowly, he learned to use this ability. He could design and test inventions entirely inside his mind before ever touching a single piece of metal. He was also deeply sensitive. Loud sounds hurt him. Bright lights bothered his eyes. He could not wear jewelry or touch certain materials. But inside this sensitive body lived a mind of extraordinary power. He taught himself to speak 8 languages. He could memorize entire books. His professors at school sometimes thought he was cheating because his answers were too perfect. In 1875, Tesla began studying engineering at the Austrian Polytechnic in Graz. He worked harder than almost anyone around him. In his first year, he passed twice as many exams as required. His professors wrote to his father that Nikola was a star student. But something went wrong in his second year. He became addicted to card games. He stopped attending classes. He lost his scholarship and eventually left the university without a degree. This was the first great failure of his life. He was ashamed. He cut off contact with his family and told them he had died. He wandered, struggled, and hit the lowest point of his young life. But he did not stop thinking. He never stopped thinking. In 1881, while walking through a park in Budapest, something extraordinary happened. Tesla was reciting poetry from memory, a habit he had, when suddenly, a vision came to him. He saw it completely, a rotating magnetic field. A new way to generate and use electricity. He grabbed a stick and drew the design in the dirt of the park path. This single moment would eventually change the entire world. At that time, electricity was already becoming important. The great American inventor Thomas Edison had created a system of direct current, or DC, electricity. But DC had serious problems. It could not travel long distances. Every neighborhood needed its own power station. Edison's system was expensive and limited. Tesla had a better idea. He believed in alternating current, or AC. AC electricity could travel hundreds of kilometers through wires. It was more powerful, more flexible, and much cheaper to build. But first, he needed someone to help him build it. In 1884, at the age of 28, Tesla arrived in New York City. He had 4 cents in his pocket, a poem he had written, a list of mathematical calculations, and a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison. The letter said simply, "I know 2 great men. You are one of them. This young man is the other." Edison hired Tesla. For nearly a year, Tesla worked for Edison, improving his DC motors and generators. He worked 18 to 20 hours a day. Edison once promised him $50,000 if he could solve a particularly difficult engineering problem. Tesla solved it. When he asked for the money, Edison laughed. "Tesla," he said, "you do not understand American humor. There was no money." Tesla resigned immediately. This betrayal was painful. But it pushed Tesla toward his own path. In 1887, in a small laboratory in New York, Tesla built his AC induction motor, the machine he had first imagined in that Budapest park 6 years earlier. It worked perfectly. It was elegant. It was revolutionary. George Westinghouse, a successful American businessman, saw the potential immediately. He bought Tesla's patents and hired him to develop the AC system. What followed became known as the War of Currents, a fierce public battle between Edison's DC system and Tesla and Westinghouse's AC system. Edison fought hard and dirty. He publicly electrocuted animals using AC current to make people afraid of it. He spread false information. He used his fame and his money to attack Tesla's reputation. Tesla, who hated conflict, simply kept working. He let his inventions speak for themselves. In 1893, at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, one of the biggest events in American history, Tesla and Westinghouse lit the entire fairground using AC electricity. Over 27 million people visited. They saw the future. It was bright, and it was Tesla's. Then came the greatest engineering achievement of the age. In 1895, in Niagara Falls, on the border of the United States and Canada, Tesla's AC generators began sending electricity across long distances for the first time in history. The power of the waterfall was captured and sent to the city of Buffalo, 30 kilometers away. It was a miracle of engineering. The war of currents was over. Tesla had won. But here is what almost no one talks about. At the very moment of his greatest victory, Tesla was already dreaming of something far bigger. He did not want to just send electricity through wires. He wanted to send it through the air, wirelessly, to every person on Earth, for free. In 1899, Tesla moved to Colorado Springs and built a massive experimental station. He created lightning bolts over 30 meters long. He lit 200 light bulbs wirelessly from a distance of 40 kilometers. His neighbors were terrified. The local power company was furious. His experiments kept burning out their equipment. He returned to New York with a bold plan. He would build a giant tower on Long Island, a tower that would transmit electricity and information wirelessly around the entire globe. He called it Wardenclyffe Tower. A wealthy financier named J.P. Morgan agreed to fund it. Construction began in 1901. The tower rose 57 meters into the sky. But then Morgan discovered that Tesla's true goal was to give free electricity to everyone on Earth. Morgan asked the question that ended everything: if anyone can draw on the power, where do I put the meter? He could not make money from something that was free. He withdrew his funding. Tesla begged. He wrote letter after letter. He promised results. He reduced his plans. Nothing worked. By 1905, the project was dead. The tower stood unfinished and empty. Tesla had spent everything he had. He was broke, exhausted, and heartbroken. He suffered a complete mental breakdown. He checked into a hotel in New York and barely left his room for weeks. The man who had lit the world was sitting alone in the dark. He never fully recovered financially. While other inventors became rich from technologies that Tesla had made possible, Tesla himself lived in cheap hotel rooms and ate alone. He became increasingly isolated. He developed unusual habits. He was obsessed with the number 3, he refused to shake hands, he fed pigeons in the park every day and considered them his only true friends. Tesla once said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine." He believed this completely, even when the world had forgotten him. He continued to work, even in poverty. He filed over 300 patents in his lifetime. He made early contributions to radio technology, though Guglielmo Marconi received the credit and the Nobel Prize. It was only in 1943, the same year Tesla died, that the United States Supreme Court ruled that Tesla's patents had priority over Marconi's. The recognition came too late. On the 7th of January, 1943, in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan, Nikola Tesla died alone. He was 86 years old. A maid found him the next morning. He had no family nearby, no fortune, no monument. Just a room full of notebooks. But the world he had built was humming all around him. Every electric motor. Every power station. Every radio signal. Every piece of technology that uses alternating current, which is almost everything, carries his invisible fingerprint. After his death, the United States government seized his papers and notebooks. They were classified for years. Even in death, powerful people were afraid of what Tesla knew. Today, his name is on the most famous electric car company in the world. His face appears on the currency of Serbia. Scientists and engineers around the globe call him the patron saint of electricity. The unit of magnetic field strength, the Tesla, is named after him. He is everywhere, and yet for most of his life, he was treated as if he were nowhere. So what can we learn from the journey of Nikola Tesla? We learn that genius is not always rewarded in its own time. Tesla was not celebrated while he lived the way he deserved. He was used, cheated, and forgotten by many of the people he helped. But he kept working anyway. He once said, "I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success." He worked because he loved the work itself, not the money, not the fame. We learn that failure is not the end of the story. Tesla failed his university exams. He lost his scholarship. He was cheated by Edison. He lost his greatest project. He died in poverty. And yet he is remembered as one of the most important human beings who ever lived. We learn that being different is not a weakness. Tesla's unusual mind, his visions, his sensitivity, his obsessive focus, made him strange to the people around him. But those same qualities allowed him to see what no one else could see. And perhaps most importantly, we learn that some people work not for themselves, but for the future. Tesla wanted free electricity for all of humanity. He wanted to connect the world. He wanted to give, not to take. That vision was too big for his time. But it was not wrong. The next time you turn on a light, charge your phone, or use any electrical device, remember the man who made it possible. A boy born in a lightning storm in a small Croatian village, who spent his entire life chasing light, and gave it to all of us.